teams, and yeah, I'm happy this is the first virtual event, and it's great pleasure to welcome you all to the ODI's first virtual meetup on data storytelling and literacy during the pandemic. Well, I'm so excited. I see a lot of faces. And now it's virtually. ODI developed the Open Data Portal, Open Development Mekong, to increase the data ecosystem in the region, and specifically to increase the evidence-based decision-making based upon the reliable and accurate data. We are leader in setting open data standards and digitization of data online in Asia. But we notice capacity for data literacy below. So to increase the use of data for greater decision and decision-making in the region, the Data Literacy Initiative was initiated in 2019, firstly starting in Myanmar. And this workshop, we intend to reflect on the work that we have done over the year, to learn from the approach taken within each of the Mekong country contexts. And so to save some time, let me go through today's agenda. Next slide, please, Piru. Yes. We will hear from our trainer, Jan, from the founder of TB. He will share with us about the opening sessions. And after that, we will hear from the participants over the years that we have. They participated in the various data literacy events. Next slide, please. And also from the trainers from each countries. So this is the list of their panelists from each country that we will hear their reflections today. And the next slide, please. Representative from our OD network, we also present and sharing about their results and outcome over the years. Okay. And Piru will deliver the closing remark. And after this, let me, first, I think it's good time if everyone can turn on the video and we can have the group photos. Are you ready for that? Yes. If everyone ready, so I think as of now we have about 22 participants in the meeting. Let me give some time for taking the photos. If you can, are you ready? Okay. Smart. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I got it. Thank you. And yeah, let me say, I have the polls, but yeah, one poll. Let me see if we can do it now. Okay, have you seen it? It's a bit just to see about your expectations today and where are we from, so we can see. We will spend like a minute or two for these questions. So please do the polls and we then can proceed to the next sessions. Is it the poll appear to everyone's screen?
Yes.
While we waiting for the poll result, so everyone is encouraged to send us the questions in the chat, or you can use the bottom or the button of raise hands if you have any questions in each session. And if you have any difficulties, our national coordinators can also support you. Let me see how we can show the answer. Do you get the result? I think we are waiting for a few more people. Can you do the polls? I haven't seen the response.
Hello, madam. Since I cannot vote on, like, I cannot click the vote. I mean,
Oh, you cannot click the vote?
yes. And they said under the red, like, letter, host and panelists cannot vote. And I don't know. Yes. Can you fix it?
Okay. Okay. So maybe we can come up to this later. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, I see. It's not for panelists. Let me fix it later. Okay. So sorry for that. Okay. So in that case, I think we can come back to the polls later on.
Saulak, maybe I can try to launch it from my end and see if it's working. Do you want to try? Do you want to give it another minute?
Yes, if you can do that, please.
Okay, I just relaunched it.
I understand this is not for the panelists. We need to fix it out. Oh, yes. The result is coming in. Okay, great. Thanks. I see. I think some of you can do it, right? Do you see the result showing the screen?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you share the poll again? I think that it goes somewhere.
Maybe it's at the back of maybe other screen on your screen. It might hidden under the main screen.
No, I still cannot see it.
On the menu, there will be a polls on the menu. You click on that and the poll will show up again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, we wait for a few more results showing. We have friends from various countries. I will give a few more minutes, couple minutes. We also have the chat. If you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. And you also use the chat to send us the questions. Okay. I think it's good time for wrap up the result. Anyone has not do the poll yet? Okay, so I will end the poll now. And see. The first expectation from attending this meetup today, I think people now want to get inspired from data-driven stories. So we are glad that we have the winners of the contest from Cambodia and Vietnam sharing with us, and also the participants from the training in each countries share about their opinions with us and the work that they have done. The second rank is about to hear the updates on the data literacy in the Mekong region. Yes, we have trainer Jan and also the representative of each country to exchange about their works over the years. The next one is network with the data contributors and users. So hope everyone will chit chat and share your thoughts and experience during the session today. Hope it will be the fruitful 2 hours for everyone. And the last one, learn how data literacy training is conducted. Everyone has experience already, so happy to exchange with everyone. And we have 4 from Cambodia and 4 from Thailand, and 3 from Laos, 1 from Myanmar, 1 from Vietnam, and the others country is 1. Yeah. Well, this is great. Anyone has anything to say or anything greeting before we move on? Yes. If not, let me apologize if there's some difficulties or not smooth in transition of the process, but we are trying to do best for this. So not to waste the time, let me first of all express grateful to Spider for the tremendous support they have provided us for the inception of the ODM, or the Open Development Mekong, till now, and the support is invaluable to building the fair and equitable data ecosystem in the development of the landscape across the Mekong. I hopeful that you will enjoy today's meetup, and we are going to move to the next session. We are happy to welcome Jan in the next session. He will, he's the data and literacy expert trainer from Tibet, and now he's based in Singapore. He's the first trainer that I know on the data literacy. So I now hand over to you, Jan.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And nice to see everyone. And thanks, Manali, for doing the slides. Great. Okay, cool. So hi everyone, my name is Jan, and I think I know some of you on the call, and I think probably about like a quarter of you I've worked with before or met before, and lots of new faces for me as well, and really happy to see that, you know, despite all the challenges of last year and this year, ODI is still going strong, and we have all the countries in the Mekong working together to conduct more work on open data and improving data literacy. So today I'll be sharing a little bit about the reflections on the data literacy trainings that I've done over the past 5 years. focusing especially on the work that I did together with ODI for Myanmar and Cambodia that I did over the course of 2019 and 2020. So as all of the saying, my name is Jan, and I'm the founder of a consultancy called DB. And Manali, can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And so just to cover a little bit about my background and how I got into doing all of this. So I started working in open data and civic tech around about 2014 when I joined Pandia, which is a tech hub located in Yangon, Myanmar. I'm originally also from Myanmar. And I haven't gone back since 2020 when the pandemic started, but usually I'm going back and forth between Singapore and Myanmar about every month. So we focused a lot on open data and civic tech ever since the beginning of opening up Pandia. And I really got into working with data journalists and training journalists and civil society on data literacy starting about 2015. So we organized a bunch of workshops with our long-term collaborator. Her name is Eva Constantaris, who's the person who originally did the curriculum for the trainings that we've all been doing. And around 2015, that was the first trainings that we did that were focused on journalists in Myanmar. And then starting from there, we joined Open Development Mekong as a partner for Myanmar in 2016. So Pandia is no longer the organization responsible for maintaining Open Development Myanmar, but we were for a few years. And after that, I moved around from not just working in Myanmar to working more regionally and also with international groups that are doing data literacy and open data. So I joined a fellowship from this organization called School of Data, which is a network of international civil society folks who are doing data literacy training. And that I did a fellowship for a year focusing specifically on natural resource governance. And then I was doing some freelancing for a bit and doing a bit of trainings on the side and doing data visualization, which is the main thing that I'm passionate about. And around 2018, I started forming a small team, and we are now, the company is called DB. And for the last 2 years or 2 or 3 years, we've been working on doing data literacy trainings more as a team instead of just me individually. And we're doing things like human-centered design, data visualization, and web development as well. And next slide, please. So specifically about data literacy training that I've done and I've been involved with. And I think this also kind of leads into how our thinking has evolved in terms of how data literacy training works and what doesn't work. So as I was saying, in 2015, that was when we had the first time in Myanmar that we've had like free and fair elections for a long time. And in conjunction with those elections, we thought it would be great to have journalists be able to do things like analyze election results, analyze kind of which parties were competing, and all of that, of course, involves a lot of data. So that was the first time we organized some data journalism trainings. And that went quite okay. It was like a 1-week training. People got the basics. They were able to come up with like election results and kind of analyze what MPs were doing and things like that. So from there, we got a little bit more ambitious. So in 2016, we did the first Mekong-wide data literacy training. So we got a few journalists and also civil society folks from around the region. We brought them all to Yangon for a week and did a training there. I think Peru was there. We were all in Pandia together. And from there, we started thinking of how we can move beyond doing a 1-week bootcamp style training, which it got people to learn some basic skills, but it wasn't enough for them to really develop the expertise that they needed to really be doing data journalism on a long-term basis, or give them enough of a baseline to start writing stories themselves. And in 2017, I was experimenting with like what would be a better way to do this training. And one thing that kind of evolved in terms of the way that we conducted trainings was to have multiple workshops with time in the middle. And during that time in the middle, I would kind of sit together one-on-one with each individual participant and work on the stories that they were doing, the story ideas that they were doing. And we found that that led to a lot more effective results. So, you know, it's more time consuming, it's more labor intensive because you have to really kind of sit down with people. But, you know, sitting down with people, getting their story ideas, getting them to talk about their ideas, you get to know them a lot better. And you also get to really troubleshoot with them if they're stuck and really develop their skills like that. So that was the idea that we got in terms of changing our training from just like a 1 week intensive workshop to something that's split over several months. And in 2017, that resulted in some good pieces that people were producing. The people who came out of that training, they were producing good results. So for about a year, I think we spent trying to kind of plan and fundraise for a bigger program that we can pilot in one of the Mekong countries and bring to other parts of the ODI network as well. So we got lucky and the World Bank funded the first pilot one that we were going to do in Myanmar. And in 2019, we started a 3-month data literacy certificate program that was, I think, around middle of the year in 2019. And towards the end of the year 2019, we took the same curriculum and tweaked it a bit to deliver in Cambodia as well. I would love to hear about all the subsequent trainings that you guys have been doing in other countries as well. So yes, both the 2019 and 2020 trainings in Myanmar and Cambodia, I think were successful. And I think it shows that, you know, the new format that we come up with where you have, you know, workshops that are interspersed over several months with mentorship in between and after the workshops, it's the way to go. Next slide, please. Oh, I think now it's frozen. Oops.
Now it's frozen.
Do you want me to just share my screen?
I'm just gonna take over now.
Okay.
Not sure, sorry, present.
Okay. Thanks, Drew. Yeah. So, so back to kind of why do we do this in the first place, right? I think all of us in this room are civil society folks, and why is data literacy important in civil society? So if you've been in the workshops that I present, you've seen this diagram before. It's from the Sunlight Foundation. They came up with it about 10 years ago. And it's basically showing us why when we're working in the field of transparency and accountability is really a group effort, right? Different organizations, different people with different skill sets and different focus have to all play a role in kind of like taking an agenda forward, right? So, you know, we work with open data, right? So a lot of data comes first from the government, but when, as you all know, when the government publishes data, they don't really care about the formats they publish in, that they don't care about, you know, how easy it is for people to access. So, you know, technologists come in, right? So if you're following along, I'm starting on the blue part on the top left of that diagram, and then I'm going anti-clockwise. So you have the technologists coming in, and the technologists, you know, are able to kind of like wrangle the data, scrape the data, build apps, and so on and so forth. But they don't know how to make it look nice and make it so that people find it accessible. So you have to work with creative people who are graphic designers, web designers, and so on and so forth. And the technologists and the creatives themselves might not have an audience. So it's up to the journalists, right? That's why we have journalists working together with civil society a lot to take the products that are built by the developers and the designers to the general public, right? And then, when people find out about it, the citizens might be, activists or like grouped together in a way that will allow them to advocate for it, right? So that's when the civil society groups come in to kind of take the citizens' voices and say, hey, we can do something with it. We can launch a campaign. We can have a petition. We can kind of write a white paper to recommend to the government something to do, et cetera, et cetera. So the CSOs come in, and then it goes to policy making, right? Then you get to the lobbyists and the think tanks who then kind of craft all this stuff that has come out and present it back to the government. And then that usually will result in the government being even more transparent and releasing even more data, and the cycle starts again, right? Or at least that's how, in a perfect world, the accountability and transparency process should work, right? But this diagram shows how all these different linkages are important. Next slide, please. Okay, so as ODI or as organizations in the region who are focused on working on various aspects of getting data out to the people who will be using this data, right? I really like the term infomediaries. It's a term I use quite a lot. I think I first stumbled on it during a talk that someone was giving, someone who was also working in this field, and I really like the way he formulated it. So if you have access to the slides, you can click on the link, and there's a whole paper that I found online about infomediaries. So what are intermediaries? So there's kind of, at the very simple version of it, you're an intermediary. You're someone sitting in the middle between two different groups, providing information, right? So, for example, there are journalists who wants to write stories, and then there's a civil society group who has done some research, right? As the intermediary, you're helping connect the civil society group and the journalists by providing the journalists with the data from the civil society group, right? So, and that's just one example. There are lots of different ways with which you're performing that role, right? And you see the little Venn diagram here, right? So you're at the most basic step, if you're an information intermediary, you're enabling access to information from multiple sources, right? Like I was saying before, this is the core thing that a data portal like ODN does, right? So you're providing information to people, right? But that's not enough to get the transparency cycle going. You have to help people make sense and apply that information as well, right? So that's why we have these data literacy campaigns. And then once people are aware that the data is there and aware that they can use it, then you have to then kind of nudge organizations and nudge institutions towards using that information to improve the knowledge that they have to solve problems and make decisions, right? That's what we always talk about, data-driven decision making, and that's where the role of you being a knowledge broker, not just an information provider, comes. Right? And at the end of the day, why are we doing all this tech stuff? Civil society has been around for hundreds of years. Well, why do we have to do all this tech stuff? Because tech enables innovation, right? So at the end of the day, we want to kind of create change, but not just change that is slow and change that is in a very traditional sense, but we want to create innovation in the institutions that we're working with, and not just change in and of itself, right? And our colleague Bong Kri I think he sums it up very neatly when he says, this is what he says Open Development Cambodia does, right? We help to cook the data, so you just have to eat it, right? So I really like the analogy of using food as an example. So yeah, next slide, I'll talk more about food.
Oops, what happened?
Oh,
Where do I
I think you'll have to, click on the little thing. Yeah, that little, there we go. Right. So the next two slides are talking about, when you're intermediary helping civil society versus an intermediary trying to help journalists do their data journalism. Right? So when we're talking about helping civil society, usually a civil society group working with data will fall under like two different types of camps. One is they can be like a supermarket, right? And in this case, what we mean is they're taking very, very, very raw data from the original sources, and then just packaging up the data as ingredients for other people to use, right? So an open data portal, so a website showing election results, they're not processing the data and giving you insights. They're just giving you the data, just like you go into the supermarket, you buy all the ingredients, you cook it yourself, right? But at least the ingredients are all nicely packaged and labeled and everything, so where it comes from and everything. And then there's like the other type of use case for civil society where the organization is trying to be like a restaurant, right? In that case, what they do is they really provide like a packaged, fully cooked experience for the user, right? So here you're talking about organizations that are like publishing data stories, are creating infographics to guide their campaign. Right? So if you're doing a campaign about people being resistant to vaccines, they've already crunched all the data. They kind of got the insights that they know will be suited to their audience, and they have like just maybe at the end of the day just a few infographics, but they've done a lot of work to do that, right? So as a data literacy trainer, training civil society, you have to know the needs of the organization that you're trying to help, right? So that's why we have to do all the work to help the kind of supermarket type civil society organizations, but also the restaurant type civil society organizations. Next slide, please. And whereas for civil society, you usually end up with a whole bunch of different types of needs. For journalists, I think that their needs are more focused, but also I find that a lot of things have to come together in order to make data journalism training work. I don't know how many of the people in this meetup are journalists. I suspect most of you are from civil society and the ODI network, right? So, but we work a lot with journalists, right? And I find that there are three essential ingredients that are needed for data literacy training for journalists to work. One is that you have to, the journalist that you're working with should know the area that the story is written about, right? If you're writing about environmental issues along the Mekong because of new dams that are being built or something, the journalist has to know, they might not know like the technical details about the data, but they have to know about the complications, the politics of it, the policy around it, so that when you talk to them and you show them the data or you help them with the data, they're not going to misinterpret the data. So the journalist, it has to be the journalist beat, right? The other thing, it has to be newsworthy. So here we're talking about the editor, right? So you might come up with a really good story, but if it's not something that the newspaper's audience is going to be interested in, then either the editor will say we're not going to publish it, or they do publish it and nobody reads the paper, and then you're not going to be able to go back to that organization and say, hey, we want to do more trainings, right? So it has to be newsworthy. It has to be something that the editor thinks is something that the audience will be interested in, right? And the last thing, data has to be accessible and available, right? The editor might be really interested in working on a topic. The journalist might be really interested in working on that topic. But if you're dealing with a situation where there's no data available or is available, but nobody's going to give it to you, and that's not going to work either. So all those three things I think have to come in to make sure that data journalism training works. Cool. Yeah, next slide, please. I think I'm going a bit over time already, but I'll go through very quickly. So just some reflections on the trainings in both Myanmar and Cambodia. So I'll start with Myanmar first. So the Myanmar one was the first one, so I think we improved a bit on the Cambodia one. So what worked in the Myanmar trainings was we had a really good support team, right? So if you're doing data journalism training, you might be a experienced trainer, but if you're doing it yourself, it's going to be really hard. And whichever country you go into, you have to make sure that there's someone who's there who already has data sets prepared, who works in that field, who is going to not just help you as like a assistant trainer, but also know that data set very well. We worked with Pandia, which is an organization that has done a lot of groundwork building up trust among civil society, trust among the editors of the newsrooms and so on and so forth. And we were able to not just deliver the training, but we built into it like a training of trainers component, so that after I did the 3-month training, the folks at Pandia were able to kind of do subsequent smaller trainings on their own. Things that needed improvement. So we can't train and forget. Like, you know, the way I've discovered that these trainings work is, you know, 5 years after you've done your training with this journalist or this civil society, they're still going to come back and say, hey, Jan, we want to do a new story. Are you available for that? Right. So you have to be prepared to know that, you know, way after your program ends, way after your project ends, there's still going to be people who are going to be needing extra help. And we also found that because in Myanmar we did like a basic training and an advanced training. For the advanced one, it's much harder to put everyone in the same room, because when we get to the advanced one, some people will want to do, you know, like social media work. Some people will want to do like COVID stuff. Some people will want to do like map stuff, and they all have different needs. And so at the advanced level, you have to kind of do more customization for each of the different needs. Quickly going to the next two, of course, 2020, we weren't prepared for COVID. And so that was a really hard transition. We had to kind of like this, but this is something that everyone had to do. So I'm not going to go into that too much. And, you know, there's always a disconnect between what, how the program was designed like 3 years ago when the proposal was written, and what's happening on the ground right now when you're actually delivering the training. And when you're running the program, you have to be flexible enough to kind of like change as the needs evolve and be able to kind of communicate that to whoever's funding you. Okay, next slide. This will be my final slide. Thank you. Reflections on Cambodia. In Cambodia, as I was saying, we've improved on the template set in Myanmar. Same things in Myanmar that made the program work also applied in Cambodia. So, you know, in Myanmar, we had Pandia, who had a really good support team, who really knew the data, who really knew the stakeholders. In Cambodia, we had Open Development Cambodia, who also played that same role. I'm really excited to see my colleagues here from ODC as well. And one important difference, I think, is like the civil society trainees in Cambodia came in with a lot of data skills already. Like they might not know like all the kind of especially the storytelling skills, but they knew like statistics and they were doing publishing papers and things like that. And what made Cambodia also work was they had a way extended mentorship program that was like about 6 months or something. So people really got time to work on their projects. In terms of what needed improvement, I think when we try to put journalists and civil society in the same room, in the same training, the more kind of difference there is between their initial skill sets, the harder it'll be for like one group to catch up, right? So in Cambodia, civil society folks were already data literate, well, not like the whole spectrum of skills, but they really knew some skills already. And because of that, they were able to pick things up much quicker. Whereas the journalists, I found they had a lot more trouble picking up all these skills. And like the slide before, they had ideas for stories, but either these stories had to be like timely, it had to be only this month, or else the time window will, like the time window where people will be interested in it will go away, or they wanted to do a story that just wasn't enough good data there. And another thing that I wanted to focus on for Cambodia is how do we, I think ODC is also talking about this, and I've talked about this with ODC quite a lot, how do we kind of change from kind of like focusing our training on individual people from civil society, individual journalists, to kind of helping entire organizations, right? And for an organization like ODI and ODC as well, if you want to do more advanced projects, how will we be bridging those technical gaps? Do we just rely on getting developers and getting designers as and when needed, or is it better to kind of have in-house skills, right? But then if you have in-house skills, then there's costs involved, and et cetera, et cetera. So these are, I think, questions that you know, the folks at ODI, like yourselves, are also thinking about, and it's also something I think about all the time as well. So I'll just leave you with these questions, and I think next slide is just my thank you and question slide. Yeah, so thanks everyone. So you can go check out bb.co for my company website, or bb.recipes, where we've prototyped a little website for learning data journalism through recipes, because we really like Bonke's food analogy, so we took it all the way to the prototype. And you can email me.
Yeah. So anyone has more questions, you can directly contact Jan. But I will give a few questions if anyone has so far right now. That's really superb presentation to reflect about your work with us in Cambodia and as well as in Myanmar. But unfortunately, the COVID-19 has made us a lot of challenges. Any questions so far? If not, maybe I can move on to the next session. Our work in the Mekong has been, as Jan presented, it has been over the year already. And one thing we have done is we launched a contest in mid-March 2021 to invite participants to use the data literacy skill and creativity to build the data-driven story for featuring the COVID-19 impacts on the ODI platforms and other relevant sources. So for this session, we will invite our winners of the contest because the contest, we encourage the professionals, researchers, students, CSOs, especially those who identify indigenous peoples, to demonstrate the value of their data through effective visual data storytelling, and to contribute to the open data community by increasing the accessibility of information on public services. And now we are going to hear reflections from the contest in Cambodia. Let me welcome Sheta and her team, who is the first winner. But let us see the work that they have done. Is the video. Kylie, show the slide, please, Manali. They produced the work on the data-driven video on COVID-19 and overview in Cambodia as of 12 March 2021. Yeah, the video is in the first slide. Let Manali show us that slide. And after the video, Sheta will share with us about why she participated in the contest and what the benefits of creating the data-driven story.
នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាករណីឆ្លងជំងឺ COVID-19 ដំបូងត្រូវបានរកឃើញនៅថ្ងៃទី28ខែមករាឆ្នាំ2020 គិតត្រឹមថ្ងៃទី12ខែមីនាឆ្នាំ2021នេះអ្នកឆ្លងជំងឺ COVID-19 មានចំនួនសរុប 1225 នាក់ក្នុងនោះមានអ្នកជំងឺ 51% បានជាសះស្បើយហើយប្រមាណ 50% ទៀតកំពុងស្ថិតក្នុងការព្យាបាលនៅឡើយហើយអ្នកជំងឺដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតដោយសារជំងឺនេះមានតែម្នាក់ប៉ុណ្ណោះ ក្នុងចំណោមអ្នកឆ្លងទាំងអស់មាន 57% ជាបុរសនិង 43% ជាស្ត្រីអ្វីដែលគួរឲ្យកត់សម្គាល់នោះគឺអ្នកឆ្លងភាគច្រើនជាក្រុមមនុស្សដែលមានអាយុក្នុងចន្លោះ21ឆ្នាំដល់40ឆ្នាំនៅដើមឆ្នាំ2020រហូតដល់ព្រឹត្តិការណ៍ពីវិច្ឆិកាឆ្នាំ2020ស្ថានភាពការឆ្លងជំងឺ COVID-19 នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាមានចំនួនតិចហើយករណីដែលបានរកឃើញសុទ្ធតែជាករណីនាំចូល ករណីឆ្លងក្នុងសហគមន៍ដំបូងត្រូវបានរកឃើញនៅថ្ងៃទី28ខែវិច្ឆិកាឆ្នាំ2020ហើយលើកទី2គឺនៅថ្ងៃទី20ខែកុម្ភៈឆ្នាំ2021 ទិន្នន័យបានបង្ហាញថាចំនួនអ្នកឆ្លងជំងឺ COVID-19 មានការកើនឡើងយ៉ាងខ្លាំងក្រោយព្រឹត្តិការណ៍20កុម្ភៈ ដើម្បីប្រយុទ្ធប្រឆាំងនិងទប់ស្កាត់នឹងការឆ្លងរាលដាលនៃជំងឺ COVID-19 រដ្ឋាភិបាលប្រទេសកម្ពុជាបានចាត់វិធានការជាច្រើនហើយវិធានការចម្បងមួយគឺការចាក់វ៉ាក់សាំងការពារជំងឺ COVID-19 ប្រទេសកម្ពុជាបានទទួលជំនួយវ៉ាក់សាំងចំនួន2លើកវ៉ាក់សាំងដែលទទួលបាននៅលើកទី1គឺវ៉ាក់សាំង Sinopharm ហើយវ៉ាក់សាំងលើកទី2គឺវ៉ាក់សាំង AstraZeneca បើគិតត្រឹមថ្ងៃទី12ខែមីនាឆ្នាំ2021ចំនួនអ្នកបានចាក់វ៉ាក់សាំង COVID-19 គឺ 147,591 នាក់រដ្ឋាភិបាលប្រទេសកម្ពុជាបានបញ្ញាចិត្តថានឹងទទួលបានវ៉ាក់សាំងសម្រាប់ 4.2 លានដុសក្នុងពាក់កណ្ដាលឆ្នាំ2021នេះទោះជាយ៉ាងនេះក្តីបើយោងតាមរបាយការណ៍របស់ The Economist Intelligence Unit ប្រទេសកម្ពុជាត្រូវបានចាត់ចូលចំណោមប្រទេសដែលនឹងទទួលបានវ៉ាក់សាំងគ្រប់គ្រាន់នៅឆ្នាំ2023ដូច្នេះហើយយើងទាំងអស់គ្នាគប្បីតែអនុវត្តនៅវិធានការ3ការពារនិង3គុំវិធានការ3ការពាររួមមាន 1. ពាក់ម៉ាស់ 2. លាងដៃ 3. រក្សាគម្លាតសុវត្ថិភាពសង្គមរីឯវិធានការ3គុំរួមមាន 1. កុំចូលទៅកន្លែងបិទជិតគ្មានខ្យល់ចេញចូលនិងប្រើម៉ាស៊ីនត្រជាក់ច្រើនពេក 2. កុំទៅកន្លែងមានមនុស្សច្រើនកុះករ 3. កុំប៉ះពាល់គ្នាកុំចាប់ដៃគ្នាកុំគៀកស្មាគ្នាកុំអោបគ្នាជាដើមនៅពេលជួបគ្នាសូមនៅផ្ទះហើយចាក់ចេញពីផ្ទះនៅពេលណាដែលចាំបាច់រួមគ្នាប្រយុទ្ធនឹងជំងឺ COVID-19
Yes, Shita, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. So good morning, everyone. My name is Vinh Sachita, and this is my partner. He is Chia Sang-ha Dararat. So the reason why we joined the contest is that we would like to contribute to illustrating the current situation of COVID-19 in Cambodia by summarizing and visualizing the data in a comprehensive way to the audiences. After joining the contest, we have learned a lot. First of all, we learned about the data processing, such as data collection, data cleaning, and data analysis. We also got a chance to practice our animation skills. And our experience with data literacy was courses we had in our college, which are data journalism course and other research courses. Next slide, please. Yes, and in our teamwork, we start from setting the objective for the videos, and then we divide the workload. And then we start collect the data and do the data cleaning and spot the obvious data pattern. And then we start script writing as well as animating and narrating. And the challenges and opportunity we face during the contest is that, first of all, since COVID-19 is a global pandemic, therefore there are a lot of data available out there, especially from ODC website and also from the government. Next, the challenges. So first of all, video is static. So obviously we can see that 3 months after we produce the video, there has been a lot of updates. So the video needs to be published or released as soon as possible because it's not dynamic. It cannot be updated over time by itself. And second, the second challenge is that we have limited skills in producing animation video. So those are what we can do in a short period of time. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shita, for sharing about the reasons that you joined with the contest in Cambodia. I don't see any questions so far. Feel free to type the message or the questions in the chat or raise your hands. When we have a chance, we will raise your questions to the panelists. Then may I invite the first runner-up of the Cambodia, who's also joined the contest and received the second prize. And yeah, they developed the data-driven research on the unequal effects of the COVID-19 in Cambodia. May I invite Jamran? Are you ready?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello. So please share with us about your work and also the reason why you joined the contest and how it's benefit to you and your work. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam. And hello, everyone again. So my name is Jamran and my partner is Patikas, and we are excited to present our work. Yes. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, that's not the Google slide. Can you click on the, maybe that's not the link, Manali or Peru?
Yes.
Manali, can you try once again, please?
Yes, I'm just trying. Okay, I think it should work better now. Can you see it?
Yes, thank you so much.
Sorry for that.
So let's hello again. And my name's Jamran and my partner is Patikas, and we are excited to be here and present our work. So the first one, you might see the videos of the scrolling on our work. Yes, you might see the screens, and it is the videos of our work that we have that we wrote on the articles and with some figures, but we will briefly talk about this in the next slides. Yeah. Can you go to the next slide? Yes. So the next slide will be our reflections on joining this data storytelling contest. So why do we join this contest? We have two main reasons to join this contest, because we want to explore the effect of the COVID-19 on the certain sectors in Cambodia, and especially on economic sectors. And the second thing is we want to test out our analytical skills by utilizing the available data on the internet, and especially on Open Development Cambodia website. At the end of the day, we discovered like the unequal effects of COVID-19 on the certain areas, and also specifically on economic sectors. The challenges that we have faced so far in doing this data storytellings is sometimes we cannot find the information, or there are the insufficient and late release data from the officials websites, such as like ministry website and so on. And sometimes we cannot find the certain research or on a specific topic like the social pressures or gender bias violence in Cambodia, which there is no data available for us to analyze and to use. And the opportunities that we have seen so far after joining this program is we are really delighted to have Open Development Cambodia's and Open Development in the and ODI's websites, which are make the data collection methods will be easier. And also we right now we are in the middle of joining Asian Data Science Explorers, which is also the data analyst competition as well. Can you move to the next slide, please? So the next slide will be presents like briefly about our work. So the first thing about unequal effect on the first sectors, which is economic sectors. And we found that in economic sectors, there are unequal effects on two different sectors, which are suffering from the COVID-19. The first one is tourism, and the second one is government industry. So we found that there are 17 cases of unemployed tourism workers, and there are 135 cases of unemployed government workers. And this is all of this because of the closures of the industries or factories. And can you move to the next slide? And COVID-19 also giving like a system effects to not only the closures of the factories, but also to the informal sectors. According to our research, we found that wage earner in the government sector support 5 to 6 people or persons in the informal sectors. So this is the system effects that we have found so far. And can you move to the next slide? And the next slide, there is an unequal effect on education sectors. So we found that 93% of students in Cambodia are in public schools and 39% of them without internet access. So this will make the online learning or distance learning will be tougher and tougher. Can you move to the next slide? And the next slide will be shown that there are 50% of children will have access to smartphones, but only 2.7% of them have access to computer or tablet, which is the most easiest ways to learn from distance or online learnings will be easier by using computers or tablet. And last but not least, can you move to the next slide? And last but not least, we also found some sort of information about social pressures and gender-based violence. There are 45% of female entertainment workers who are reported to have experienced gender-based violence during this COVID situations recently. And also the household, they are really stuck at home and they are working from home, so that they also looking up for their children. There will be another add-on task for them to do. So this is all of the data that we have found so far. And can you move to the next slide? And after figured out all of those data, we are really happy and we are really want to suggest our policies, which is a rotated week policy, which means that everyone will have split it into 2 or 3 groups according to their amount of or number of people or number of office workers or students. So they are split into 2 or 3 groups and they will attend to the class or office once a week and will be rotated in every week. So that's all about our presentations and we hope you find it well, and thank you very much for your listenings.
That's awesome work, Jamran, and also Shada for both works related about the using of data to produce video and also the research to inform about the impacts of the COVID-19 in Cambodia. With the limited time, anyone has the questions, please feel free to use the chat and our panelists will directly respond to the chat, or we will see later on if we have time to bring out that questions to the Zoom. Next, we would like to invite the Vietnam team. Well, our colleagues in Vietnam also launched the same challenge of the COVID-19 data storytelling. And we are thrilled to share with you the contest results. Can Manali share the screen, please? And since the first prize winner, we have Yen, but she sent us the pre-recording video. So it's on the first slide. Can you share the screen, please? We have 3 winners for the Vietnam contest, but today we will meet Yen from the pre-recording videos, and the third prize, Lei will join us later. So second slide, and we will hear the pre-recorded video. Yes.
Hello, my name is Ian. I'm from Vietnam, and I'm one of the 3 winners of the this data storytelling contest organized by the Open Development Vietnam. And today I'm very happy to share with you about my journey. So I know about the contest from ODI Facebook page,
And what I really like about the contest is that it encourages participants to be creative when making data products. And what it means is that participants are flexible to select the data sources, select the tools, and decide the format of their story. So back to my story, the motivation was that it was March 2021, and Vietnam was experiencing the third wave of COVID-19. So vaccination draw attention from people, and so that people can have to consume information from multiple sources like social media, newspapers, television, and it was easy to get lost. So I wanted to create an infographic that consolidating news from multiple channels so that it was easier for people to have an overview of the vaccination strategy, and they know what's happening and what to expect in the future. There was one challenge of my during my progress of making the infographic. It was the inconsistency of reporting data. So you may have noticed that I have one page which describes the vaccination map in multiple provinces in Vietnam, and the data comes from the Ministry of Health web portal. But the fact is that there was no database at all, and the figures it was not reported on a daily basis and on a consistent format. For example, one day they report the total number of doses, and for the other day they reported just the number of increasing doses per day. So it was not consistent at all, and I had to collect the data manually and process it to turn it into a data set for the map, for the vaccination map I produced. And so there was two big lessons I learned from this competition. The first lesson is that having an open data platform is very important. It allows people to access quality data and that they can use for their own research. And there's the other lesson is that I know the new data visualization tool, which is Data Wrapper. This tool is very handy for me because it didn't require any installations or special technical skills, but still can produce a very impressive outcome. So, which is very useful for my job as a data analyst. So I would like to thank Open Development Vietnam for their great work in terms of making data more accessible for public, for people. And I hope they continue to make great work in the future.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and so although she's not here, now can we back to the previous slide, Manali? And next we will meet Lien. Are you here with us? Can you check your microphone? Lien is the third prize winner. Hi,
Can you hear
Lien.
me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see all of you. And after seeing your work, I know that why I just get the third prize because just did so good work. Yeah, so excellent. So let me share my story. So now I have been a researcher in the Institute of Policy and Strategy for Agriculture and Rural Development in Vietnam for about 10 years. And I've known about this contest through the website of ODI when I just search for some data. And I also see that I can access to the latest data that our institute has done regarding to the impacts of COVID-19 on the rural people. So I find this is a very good opportunity to share the information with other people, as well as to learn more about the data visualization with other people. Before I go to the presentation of the visualization story that I had sent to ODV, I would like to step back a little bit and share my viewpoints on data storytelling and data visualization. So as you know that I work for a think tank in Vietnam, my institute provides the policy briefs and advisory papers to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. So we work a lot with policymakers and other stakeholders in the sector, for example, the farmers and the agribusinesses. And we see that there is increasing demand for scientific-based and data-based policy briefs and information to help the decision-making process of different stakeholders in the sector. So it's very important that we can have a trustworthy system of data collection, analysis, and presentation. Secondly, we see that our stakeholders or our partners, like the government, the policymakers, at different management authority level, the farmers and the agribusiness, they are not that academic as we are. So if we just present the things in an academic way, so it's very hard for them to comprehend. So that's why it is now very important that how we can present the data in the way that they can easily use and easily to comprehend what we want to explain to them or to advocate to them. So I think that's why data presentation is now becomes more important to us. And third, I think that now we are in a digital economy, especially with the COVID-19. We work more from home, we work far away, and we are depend more on a website-based platform. So it's also a chance for us to translate all the story or to advocate our story through a kind of very good way of data presentation that we can see, that I can learn from you. So and I already saw your work, like just as a video or other kind of graphs that is very proactive, interactive between the users and the providers. So that's why I think that in the future, it will be very good for our career and our work if we can know how we can present the data more effectively. So that's why also the reasons that I would like to explore more opportunities and the tools to do this in the future. And I think that this competition, this contest is a very good chance for me to get network and to get more understanding and learn more from you. So now back to my work that I already sent to you. Can you please open the my work from your computer to show the other people? Or I just share my screen?
Salak, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I mean, that slide, you can click third prize winner, the link on that slide. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can share screen or everybody can see it?
Just give me 1 second. I'm just.
I hear, but not see your screen.
Yes. So my work is on the impacts of COVID-19 on Vietnamese rural household. This data we get from a survey of 1,300 rural households in 12 provinces of Vietnam in early 2020. And from that data, we produced a very quick assessment report that if you want to find it, you can see at the source link that we linked to the whole report. In that report, we analyzed the data and we assessed all the things relating to how the COVID-19 made a negative impact on the rural households. But for this work, I just extract the impacts on rural households' income to try to visualize it, to see how it works. And for this one, I use the Flourish Studio to do it. And for this one, we can have to combine to see different category, or we can combine them to have a better comparison among the category. So for these impacts, we analyze the impacts on different types of households that we categorized by the source of income. We have the households that rely mainly on on-farm activities, or they also have additional source from income, but it's not as much as farm activities. So we call them the farm households. The second category is of farm families, where the household just rely on non-farm activities for their income. The other households is the households that depends on subsidies and remittance. The households depends on salaries and wages, and the households depending on other sources of income. So when comparing among these type of households, we see that the households that have the income mainly from off-farm activities seems to be more negatively affected by the COVID-19 impacts, while the farm households is not as negatively impacted by COVID-19. So the reason why we see this result is quite consistent with other report also done in Vietnam by the Ministry of Social Affairs. We see that the farm household seems to be more resilient, and it's once again show that the agriculture sector in Vietnam is still the shelter for the households when they get into crisis. People still can have their land, do their farm, and still can have their income, even there are a lot of economic crisis, while the other, when they depending on non-activities in the cities or in industrial zones, they are affected a lot. And one of the reasons is that many rural people, when they migrate to the cities, they just can get the informal jobs. So they do not have a lot of social welfare. And maybe that's also one of the reasons why the non-farm households is more affected by COVID-19 than the farm households. So from this result, the report in general have provide some recommendations for the government on how to support the rural households to overcome the COVID-19. So that's all about my work that I already done for this contest.
Thank you very much.
And if you have any question, please share with me.
Yeah, thanks, Len. Yeah, if any questions, please feel free to type in the chat. I think we are behind the schedule a bit. Now let's move to Laos colleagues. We are going to hear from 3 participants, our alumni, to reflect their opinions after receiving the training in Laos. Let's first welcome Kampang. Are you there? Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Yes, over to you.
Okay. Please share my slide.
Yes.
Could you? Okay, thank you. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'll be here today to share my experience in the training, data retrieval training in Laos. The first Yes, my name is Kampang Pongkam. I'm working for the Law Biodiversity as Forest Technical, and I'm one technical support for Lao CSO Operating Network. I got information training from the DCOP under the Before project, and my organization is the partner with the DCOP in the project. Yeah, please next slide. Yeah, this training is very important for me and CSO to develop the communication tool and information analysis skill. I think so. I think this training is to help a lot for our team. Yeah. Next slide, please. In the training, we are the a lot of the consultation and exchange experience and last training. A last section of training, we are the present concept idea. This is my concept idea. I will introduce you some slide for my concept idea. It's my topic that realizing community forest in governance model, forest governance model. This process to promote the local life in the forest and land life, especially how to apply the native customary life in the forest governance and land governance in my package village. And I got data from the ODI and database from the target village to run by the data web paper to support my project idea. Please, next slide. Yeah, this graph is show the tree loss in my country since 2006 to 2016. Among the 10 years, we are a lot of the tree area in my country. That you see the graph in the increase every year, and it's the column to show you about what is this column. I use the database from the target village, and just show you about the hormone activity. Like you got what is benefit from the forest. I marked the column color different. It blue color and just pink color to that key point I would like to explain to you. The first column, the blue column, that the people in my target village, they are using the tree to build their house. And second column, the food they get from the forest. And the last column is like a pink marker. They get the income from the forest, like sell non-table or sell the tea. Yeah, this I would like to the people or local people to explain them to what is the forest is very important to them. That's my project. Please, next slide. Yeah, after training, that's outcome after training. In the training, like I said, we learn a lot and exchange a lot to learn more together. And this training gives me to knowledge, understand more how to use the tool, how to get the tool result and get information to design by using the tool from the training, and to get knowledge in the access information and data analysis in the different head or in my country and outside. And now I am working for I'm technical support for the Lao CSO Operating Network. Very important point. When we sitting on discussion with the partner in the FIC process, there are the three partners in this FIC process: it's government and private sector and CSO. CSO. We need to the information ingredient to discussion. This training helped me a lot to get information from the website or from the another result, especially for the research and case study to discussion to them, because we need to the data evidence to discussion in the technical meeting. And last outcome, this training is to be useful in the future, how to I develop myself and to training for my organization or my partner in the future, but I need help a lot from the trainer or donor in the future. Yeah, Pete, next slide. Okay. Challenge or difficult in during the training. We don't have experience to using the tool, and you create using time a lot to explain to the people, to the participant, because we have the many different participants from the organization, and we different knowledge, different skill, and limit time, like in the limit information. This point very important in my country. It's quite difficult to access official data from government. When we are dealing with training, we need to relate the data from the website, from the government to the practice, to the exercise in the training room, but very difficult. We use the data from the another country, from the Vietnam, from the Cambodia. I think so. It's not a good point for my training. And last, the training we are the useful content, useful topic, but we have the quite a short time to preparing. Yeah. Yes, Nick. Yeah. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Kampang, for joining us and sharing your experience with us. Yeah, can I move next? I think we have Jonat here with us, but since he is the engineering student at the university, so he get prepared with the pre-recorded video in the first slide. May I ask Manali to share the slide, please? Yeah. So if we have any questions, any of us, or you have questions to our panelists, feel free to type in the chat box. And after the video, Jonas can get response to you via the chat.
Hello, my name is Jonat Sayamanti. I'm a student at Faculty of Engineering, University of Laos. I was invited by my friends for attend training, and after I have trained, I decided to attend competition because I want to use my knowledge that I have learned for making benefit to other person and me. And these are new lessons that I gained from training. Learning new programs such as Pictoshop, Tabula for List, Data Wrapper programs, which for creating data storytelling. I have known the importance of data. For to solve a problem, we have to get information about it by search or analyze data that we get. Know how to clean, organize, and analyze data. We have to clean data for set it to be a good data, such as fill it to Excel and putting it as species. How to get data. Open Development Mekong is open data website where I can find much information and free download the document and maps. Learn how to create data storytelling. I have learned how data storytelling should be and learn creating it. I like to using PictoShop. Learning about economic system, even though that is something that I have never interested in. Which or of these I can use them in my future not only for competition, such as decorate my report, make charts, and other. And after I have trained, I create my data storytelling, which I decide to talk about economy of Laos during COVID-19 pandemic, which I compare economy of Laos in the past and now, how it different. Find the problem, find the lesson, find trends that can affect to our economy and then find the thing that we can resolve and cope which creating all of these are depend on my knowledge and ability. It may not resolve problem, but I want to show off my opinion about this matter and try to do new things. Duration of create my product, I always found some problem. Language barriers. Program instruction are mostly in English, so I have to spend much time to learn. Second, cannot find some data. Looking for data so difficult. I can't find some data that I want to analyze, and data didn't update on time. Don't understand about economy. My topic is about economy, which I have limited knowledge. I spend a lot of time to researching for the data information. Don't know how to use the existing data. I don't know deeply about its context. Finally, these are links that you can follow my product. Thank
Hello,
you.
Jonas. Can you say hello to everyone? I'm sorry.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, so Jonas with us. If anyone has a questions, he's also ready to respond via the chat. Can I go next to the next from Laos, Surya? She's also engineering student. She joined the training with us. Are you here? Surya, yes. Open your mic, please. Unmute yourself. Yes. Okay. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Surya Davilehong. I am studying in the 3 year of the Faculty of Engineering, Information, Computer and Information Technology Department. Okay, next slide, please. When I heard about the data-driven story contest on the Facebook page set by my friends, it attracts my attention. I want to try to apply for the contest, but the criteria sound challenging for me, and I am familiar with the data visualization itself, but I am not good at telling story. Next slide, please. Weeks later, I had a chance to join the training organized by the Open Development Lab at my faculty, where I could see a clearer picture and way forward. I joined the training because open data is a very new topic to me. I wish to gain more knowledge and understand the global trends to update my IT skill that may help with my study. Like I mentioned earlier, storytelling is a new concept that I am interested in learning. Next slide, please. Okay, I continuously attended every class, even during the lockdown periods. I enjoy the step and using program, making the data visualization. I explore the new data source and first time knew about open data source like the open development Mekong platform. Next slide, please. Based on the training course, I finally create my data visualization using the PictoChat program. This is output of my work after the training. I focus on the impacts of the COVID-19 to Lao economy, expanding how it impacts people income. I teach it in Lao, my own language, as my English is not good. Next slide, please. As a trainee of the program, there are not many shots available about COVID-19 in my country, and most of data is in English. Lockdown makes us work online, and I found difficulty discussing with my teammates as we plan to work in a group about the project. Plus, with a best internet connection that interrupt the motivation and concentration. However, I can see the improvement of my skill and become more familiar with the tool. I will use all of the new tool into my upcoming study project and final this as well. That is all of my presentation. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Suliya. You're doing great. Yeah, so we are quite a bit behind the schedule. So I'm moving to Thailand alumni. I'm glad to welcome 3 representatives. The first one, may I ask Pirawan from AIPP, since you joined the training, can you share experience and reflection with us? Are you here? Pirawan, are you here with us? Can you unmute, please? Hello, Pirawan, are you with us?
Sorry.
Okay, now I over to you.
So I should, okay, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Pirawan. I belong to Karen Indigenous Group and I'm working as a program officer at APP. Yeah, you can click to next slide. Actually, I joined this training by, how to say, coincidence by, because our partner in Thailand were contacted by ODI, and that is where they allow the information sharing to us as well. So I, apart from myself, I also invite my colleagues in the office to join the training. First, I really don't know about this data literacy, and I find like it should be useful for my work and my organization. So I decided to join this training, no? And I think one of the most powerful moment for the course, no, like how it's really useful is like to understand what is really mean, no? Like what is the data and how powerful of the data that we can use for different purpose. And the design of the project is really helping to thinking, provide thinking process, no? That how we going to use this how to say data for advocacy work or for like funding purpose. So it's really helping to decide and who will be our audience, or that idea and concept is really help to shaping like people thinking like first thing they will think what are the tools or application we should use like that, no, but without understanding the concept is really how to say, it will be difficult to design or like what tools and other things that we can support our storytelling or our message, no. And I think number of challenges being defined by other participants as well, that how is quite challenging. So I think, yeah, finding data sort is one thing, and also having too many data and you don't know how to clean it or filtering the data that you want to use, that also challenging, no? So we also have to know where to find the data, and some data is quite limited where we want to get the creditable data. So I'm always like try to find where is the so like the government data, those things, but not every government will provide or public their information online as well. So you also need time to find, and in certain area you cannot get at all, as it's like very close data, and also you cannot get those data as well. And in terms of the tools, of course, it's quite technical, and it needs time to practice. And during the training, we also have to ask our trainer all the time, no, like how to use this, or like back and forth, no. So we have first we have only one, and then the second time and third time we have two people. So that is helping us like the mentoring, no, like guiding us is like more easier when you have more people to come and help in the training. Yeah, next please. For myself, where I learned, I may not directly to the one who collecting data, like the primary source, no, or implementing, but as working at regional is more helping us to guide us to work with other, or like to tell what kind of information that we want to produce, no, like in terms of documentation and advocacy work, try to be more targeted and have the clear idea, and also can sharing our idea not to the producer that who going to help us to generate the data, so we can give them the concept and explain what are we needed, no. So I think this is good for us to get the idea and the concept of the data literacy. So that is where we can work with the technical people, and as well as our project partner, no. And I'm also thinking like this also can be useful for our member as well. So I'm thinking like to work with the ODI as well in the future, how we can develop this kind of capacity building, no, to our member of our indigenous people in different countries as well. And I think for myself, some of the tools I already can use now to simplify my information, where it's only the text, no, but when you put the picture and some of the how to say, the gimmick, those things, no, is helping your presentation or your message is more interesting, no. Next please. And my work is really focused on the indigenous land rights now, because first I think very big, no, like as regional level, and then I have to really cut down to like to Mekong region and come down to Thailand, because finding the information is quite challenging. So this kind of practice that also helping us to shaping what kind of story we want to tell. So I'm focused on the land issue, because this is one of the common issue and the challenge that happening for indigenous people, not only in Thailand, but in other countries as well. And conservation is really one of the, how to say it, like one of the things that taken or grabbing the land of the indigenous people in the name of conservation or environment, no? So this one we just to highlight like where the indigenous people live is where the remain green area still there. So I try to produce the information to compare that where indigenous live and where the forest still remain is in the same area of the protected area that government declare, no. So these are the how to say, the pie chart that try to present like the current indigenous people who are living in Chiang Mai, and we have a lot of indigenous people community in the protected area. And also this is the one that we show. Next, please. Yeah, and mapping is quite challenging, because you need to put kind of longitude and latitude, that the the GPS information. So this one, I really want to highlight. This is where the highest forest area in Thailand, and is located in the northern part. And our indigenous people, like majority, also live in the northern part. So this is also giving the message that we are not the destroyer, we are the one who really like the guardian of the natural resources, the forest. So these are just like to give the picture of the conservation and indigenous people, we can live together. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pirawan. Sounds like you get a floor. Stay safe. Now I'm moving to the next. From IPF, we have Kanchana here, right? How are you? Hi.
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, so if you are ready, now it's your turn.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everybody. So my name is Kanchana. So I'm from IPF. So can you open? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, next slide, please. For me, so more challenging moment in the course is learning new tool is quite challenging, as some tools are complicated to difficult to use, and most are only available in English. Yeah, and next slide, please. Yeah, and on the other hand, most powerful moment in the course, learn also the same. Learning a new apps like MapBO for like data collection is fairly and easy to use, and also is work offline and allow community to monitor to collect simple information with GPS point and photo and share it with other and transfer into a computer. And MapBO is completely free and also available in Thai. Yeah. So key takeaway for applying to my work. So I can apply the tool that I learned from the course, and also the process of the how to collect, how to clean, how to analyze the data, and also many tools like MapBO, Kobo Toolbox for collecting data, and Data Wrapper, Google Data Studio, and Tableau for data visualization, and knowledge of the digital right and security for update my password or backup the data, etc. So my project is COVID-19 impact to indigenous community and gap in accessing public service and data remote mechanism of government. So I designed my work as an interactive dashboard and combined with the infographic to show important information on one screen. And the moment that I'm really proud of my work is I quite take long time for working on the data to like analyze them and whatever, and I can finish it on at the time, and use many tools that I learned in the course to apply with my work. So let's see how it looks like. Yeah, this is my work. So Manila, can you click on the slide, please? Yeah, I have a link to go to the link. Yeah, this is my work. So I start with the study area to use the GeoGov to use a mapping. Yeah, on the first one, and we will see on the map we have a four indigenous group, not from two from the north and two from the south. The first, on the top, I will show the information about the my study area and also the information about the audience and what's let's see one by one now. First one in the map, and the second one is the pie chart with the pie. Yeah, pie chart is showing the number of the population that we do the research with how many is totally is 1003. And each pie chart will showing the member of the community. And the second one is the and yeah, it's still on the under pie chart. We will you will see the number of the like we show the number of yeah and the lower ones is the to showing the what is it, the legal status of the member of what I collected. And the third one is the occupation. Yeah, third part is called bar chart or line chart, right? Yeah, how the like most of them what is their occupation, and the last of the top is the impact how they impact how the COVID-19 is impact their community. So the first one of Manila, so can you click up the top one? No, on the impact first, the bar chart. Yeah, no, yeah, can you click that? Yeah. So this what show the number of the impact in the community. So this divide in four indigenous group. The most impact is Morgan. They said the scale, the measure is 100%, and the second is Karen, and the third one is Mapli, and the last one is Money. And can you back to the dashboard? Yeah, and then the reason of the impact is why how they get impact, right? On the donut chart. Yeah, also you can click here. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so in here the most impact of the is the economic impact. They what's that? Yeah.
Low productivity, right? And then more debts and about land use. No worry, Kanjana, we share the link of your work so everyone can play around it. Although it's in Thai, I think people understand.
So, okay, this was the impact of, most of the impact is the income, and then additional debt, and they have no land, and they lost their job, unemployed, and also no food, and some of them is the last one 4.5 is the no literacy, right? Yeah, and go to the dashboard. Yeah, that's like the overall, and the lower one is on the blue one is the, yeah, I think all of you can go to my dashboard now, but this all my work, that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Kanchana. So if anyone has any questions while playing aloud the Tableau data dashboard, please put in the chat box, and then Kanchana and I will also help that. Now let's turn to another representative, Traitip. Are you here with us?
Yes, Thank you.
Okay, Tip attend the data literacy training in 2020. So it's 1 year already. Thanks for joining us and share your opinion after a year. It's your turn.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tip Sekhaladit. I'm working as a field coordinator of Agriculture and Natural Resource Program at Rakthai Foundation in Chiang Mai. The most challenging moment in the course, the most is English language. During waiting for my presentation, I would like to say thank you for Voice for Mekong Forest project that I joined, and so I can join this training, very good training. The most challenging moment in the course for me is about the low skill of computer programming and technology. Because before I attend the training, I had skill using like a Microsoft Office only, and felt that technology were too advanced for me. So I worry about that. And another thing is about my low spec notebook. But luckily for the second of the training, I got a new one, so I can join and I can learn everything that the trainer teach us. Another one is when I was the assignment, I have no idea what topic I would like to do, and I have a lack of not enough data for some topic that I think. But finally, I can get the topic to do the project. Another one is I getting rid of the data privacy and security. I think that if I don't learn about data security and privacy, I am at least when I installing new programs and signing up on the internet. And because I was not confident when seeing program in instruction and condition in English. Next slide, please. And the most powerful moment in the course, and I'm happy with my project present at the end of the course. First of all, I couldn't believe I could do those things. Working as a field coordinator, I feel that technology is very far from me because I'm not creative and not up to date with the modern technology. But after I can do that, I feel really happy. And during the training, it is the good learning environment. All of the trainer very kind and helpful in creating a good learning environment and like help us solve every problem during the training. And last, I gain new knowledge and have a new perspective of data research and presentation in various interactive format. It's like opening. Yes, the key lesson for applying to my work is I adapt methodology for project planning and presentation. I can adapt it for creating a project concept, project planning, and making a presentation later. And another thing is I apply to use Mapio app for a collection of community resources and activities and events relating to forest governance, that the project that I work with, and apply the knowledge of infographic design for training material and community events. I plan to when we have community event, I design infographic and training material with the tools and knowledge that I have learned. The last one is from the training, I get inspired with the creative idea and new tools and to find and collect and present data, because before that I normally we hire outsource to do that, and this is my project. The first one is my project is about elephant get impact by COVID-19. Can you click on that? Thank you.
I also shared the link in the chat so everyone can play around with it.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. My project is about the timeline of the situation that affect from COVID-19. At that time, since March 20,000, we have the target group in my area work have big problem about more than 100 elephant and go back to their hometown with their house. And that time it is the drought season, the dry season, and have a lot of forest fire. So the food for more than 100 elephant is really low. So we see the problem. So we try to solve the problem by ask. At that time, the Mahao have to go out to the district to cut the glass or buy the glass from other place and back to feed to the elephant. Is they have to pay a lot for the transport to pick the glass, the food for the elephant. And we try to help them by Rakthai Foundation, ask for the donate from other people to help them to help them how to solve their problem at that time. So next slide, please. This situation happened in Mecham district in Chiang Mai, and this is the overall of my project. So can you click the link, please? Thank you. The first tools that I use, it will show it's like a map, an interactive map to show, you can see in the left hand side. This map will show where the place that the Mahao bring the elephant back to their hometown. The big circle is like that village have a lot of the elephants. Like if you click in the like a purple circle, you will see that Hoi Pakut village, only one village have 63 elephant back to there, and as I said before, that time have a really lack of food for the elephant, so the Mahao have the big problem. And the right hand side is about like a graph. The right hand side show about the amount of the elephant and related to the food that the elephant want to have to eat, like 20,560 kilogram per day for all of elephant there. And the blue square is about elephant and the ape, like the elephant, what is it? Children elephant. The young elephant is 39 elephant and more than 50 years old elephant is around seven elephant, and under that is like a graph that show the amount of elephant. And yes, thank you. And this is another timeline tools that show that the first one is like a March 20,000, the Mahal and the elephant back to their hometown. And the second picture it show that the Mahal have to go out to get the food for their elephant. And the next Rock Thai Foundation have asked for donation from on the internet and create a sticker line to sell on the internet and for get money back to donate to the house. And the last one, like in June 20,000 in the environment day, we create the event to promote this project, to ask for help from other people. And at that time, many organizations, like you see it's like a network of the organization or government and some group like join together to do the event to help them how to solve their problem.
That's a
that is my
brilliant project. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if there's any question, please type in the chat, and all the links will be shared to you after the meetup. So apologies about the time. We are 30 minutes behind the schedule. We will need to continue for about 30 minutes more. So next session, we will have the ODI's coordinators to present. So I would remind all of you to keep your time now, 5 minutes if each of you, otherwise it will be so late. So may I invite Wong Pisit from ODC to share your reflection? Yeah, I over to you. Are you ready?
Thank you. Yes. Please share the slides. Oh, thank you. So I will go shorter. So as a trainer of the data literacy in Cambodia, conducted by Open Development Cambodia, I believe that data literacy will create huge impacts to the whole nation in any degree, specifically to promote the transparency and accountability of the government. And so that's why we conduct this program, and we design the curriculum very deliberately. So data literacy is about you can read, you can communicate with data. It's the same to you can read the character, but you need a bunch of skill in terms of data literacy, because you need to how to clean, how to analyze, to do some visualization that your brain cannot process immediately when you see data. So ODC with its purpose, ODC believes that the information and the story can be engage the audience, so that it is important for journalists, researcher, policy maker to know how to use data to tell the story. So please, next slide. Please, Manali, next slide. So The objective of these programs so far is about to build capacity to the stakeholder, and specifically to promote transparency and accountability. We provide the capacity building to those journalists, researcher, and communicator, the data analysis and data visualization, and to put all the stuff together to build a compelling story. So please, next slide. So so far, as we know that data literacy is about using data to tell a story, which I regard as it is one of the main driver, what we call open data for better governance. So, but although we organize the training based on with deliberate preparation and put our best effort, but there are inevitable some challenge along the journeys. First of all, recently the COVID-19, which ruined the training, as it put all of us in different individual blocks, and we deliver the training online, and there are many challenges in terms of technical problem, and the trainee less engaged and participate in training. It is not they not used to it. And the second is about the localization of the training material. Translating the curriculum from English to Khmer language is one thing. The challenge is all about the terminology, but one of the most challenging is to localize into other sector, which we need to do more research. It is labor intensive, and we need to put all our effort to design another curriculum with different contexts. And the second thing is the time frame for the training, because although we spend around 3 to 4 days for the training, but the schedule is too tight. There is no time gap for the participant to press, and they hardly internalize after the training. And one more thing is we have a few trainers lead the training, which cause some deficiency in performance, because there are so many training that we need to conduct. And regarding to the trainee selection, is also the main challenging, because it is difficult to find those who somewhat has basic digital skill, working in the sector that we are seeking, and eager to learn, enthusiastic to produce something based on what they learn. So it is also quite a challenge. And after we select the trainee to join the training, their digital knowledge gap caused challenge also during the training, because some participants lag behind, some participants who, for example, specialize in information technology, they have to wait. So the training seems not so smooth in this case. And the last thing is the last challenging and the most important one is capturing the output and the outcome from the training. I refer to the product produced by the trainee during the training and after the training. For example, for the product that they produce for their institution, because this training program is somewhat novel to them, so they hardly internalize the concept. So if it is not their priority, they less likely to produce any compelling product out of the data literacy training. But there are also some opportunity that we gain from this training. Is about internal team capacity building. I am the trainer, also learn more about the about data and how to use data to tell a story, and empower the civil society organization, journalists, students, the stakeholder, the skill to use data, how to tell a story. And one of the most important opportunities that we can extend the value added of open data, that the open data can be used more effectively in data storytelling, which raise public awareness. And it creates a paradigm shift how open data can be used effectively in this case, because data, know how to use data to tell a story is not about only how to clean, how to visualize stuff, but how to put all the things together and find the pattern of the story, find the evidence in it. And one opportunity also is it helps gain organizational reputation and up to what we provide. It is which is open data. So please, next slide. So I'm going to introduce you some of the training program, which is the data literacy program in 2008.
I think you over 5 minutes. Sorry, Pongwiset.
Okay, thank you. I present all of the important points.
Thank you. Next, can we have from Laos? Pilom, are you ready?
Yes, hi, everyone.
Okay, I think, yes.
I think we because we have so many presentations and we are running very short of time. How about we just open the discussion and have the trainees, the trainers, the mentors answer some questions to open the discussion. Otherwise, we will.
Okay, so if you want to take over on that, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we've heard a lot from the attendees, and thank you also to Pisat for giving an overall summary from experiences of the trainers. Something that I picked up a lot through all of the discussions and the presentations was language. And we are conducting this in English, unfortunately. But one of the things that we did emphasize during the training was language. So all the training was delivered in national language, all the training materials are in national language. And I just wanted some of the trainers' perspectives, because although we did focus on localizing all of the materials in the training, participants still needed a baseline of English, because all of the technologies used in the training is only available in English. And so from your perspective, and Pelong, I'm going to start with you because you were up next. How did you try to overcome this while training? Okay, yeah, well, yeah, I do agree with Piru, like she mentioned earlier, that English was one of the most challenging for the participants, and also another, since they come from different levels of not only Korea, but also since we have the diverse of the ethnic groups as well, and our target groups not only the professional careers, but also one of our mentees. We also target our student groups, like all of them share the same experience and challenges, that the barriers are the language. And beside all the data and all the information that can accessible in the country. And another point was the internet connection as well. Even though beside the digital divide that they face, the internet connection was one of the main problems that interrupt all the trainings. Plus, with all the country, since the pandemic, so the country restriction, we locked down, and we operate the training through the online, and yeah, it keeps decrease the amount of the participants from physical training to the online training. That's all from my perspective.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ambrong. So I'm going to direct the same question to Vietnam, because in Vietnam, we do see a greater increase in technologists in the development sector. So we do have technologies that are developed in Vietnam and for Vietnamese people. Do you see that trend increasing in Vietnam?
Yeah, thanks. I think that through the 3 series of training that we did for different groups of participants, I feel that the training is very well received and highly recommended because people want it, people see it very effective to their works, and all of the tools are in is very state of the art tool and open, and because the Vietnamese is very quick learner in using technology, so they love it, and I feel that there is a very good opportunity for scaling up all of the training to more groups of receivers in different fields, not only in civil society. Yeah.
Thanks. Now I'm going to direct the question to our opening speaker, Yan. Yan, do you think that there is a trend to increase development of data technology in the Mekong region or other areas of the globe where you see more nationalized development? Because I think I heard very clearly from all of the participants that language was a huge issue, and that does start from the baseline technologies that we're all using, which are very northern focused. Have you seen in your experience an increase in nationalization of this technology?
Well, thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, for a lot of the tools, what you said is right, and what all the participants and attendees have been bringing up is definitely true. It's really hard to get tools that are already localized in terms of their user interfaces, in terms of the training materials that go along with them. There are certain organizations that are working towards promoting data literacy. For example, as a newly formed, not very new now, but about 2 years ago, I think a group of people formed what's called the Data Visualization Society. And they started out as a Medium blog, and they've kind of become like a full organization that's focused more on data visualization more than data literacy as a whole. But they've been creating a lot of programs to help people, reaching out to people in the Global South to create more materials. However, for the tools, I think a lot of the tools, because, for example, Flourish is made by a team in the UK, Data Repr is made by a team in Germany, Tableau is from the US. So it's very hard for them to, it's not, I wouldn't say it's hard for them, it's not a priority for them to localize these tools and the interfaces for them for markets that are outside the places where these things are already prominently used. So I think for pure open source tools, I think there's a lot more of a possibility for that to happen. For example, I forget the name, but there was a tool built by a team in Colombia or something. So it's built with like Spanish as the default language, and one of the graph tools, the network visualization tools, Onodo, I think that's also built by a team in Latin America. So that's has Spanish as the default language. But for like languages that we have in Southeast Asia, I think it's still quite it's really early days, and without you know, open source as the default, I think it's really hard to get like these commercial companies to be like, you know, create a Thai version of this tool, and then you have like maybe a few hundred people at most using it, you know. So it's quite hard for commercial tools. I would love to kind of get the data visualization tool community to move towards what we have in the digital security tools. So, and, you know, if you look at Signal, if you look at, you know, a lot of like VPN software, they have a really dedicated effort to localize and translate the user interfaces, translate the learning materials for all these tools. But for in the data world, we're just not there yet.
Thanks, Jan. There was a question, and I'm just going to read it. If the language is the issue for many participants, on the other hand, data storytelling actually could help reduce the barriers. So maybe Open ODI could assist participants to actually use data stories to tell, to overcome the issue itself. And that's, this is from an anonymous attendee, but that's exactly right. So I think all of the presenters, participants demonstrated that having open access data is really important, and that's something that the ODI has facilitated through our Open Development Mekong platform for some years. And the whole purpose of that was to provide open access to data and information that could be used in advocacy. And the storytelling and the capacity building component, which is this, this work that we're presenting now, is really to facilitate that process on conveying that data into a story and that messaging. So I think one of the challenges is the tools and technology, which is why we've introduced some tools such as the Mapio application that tries to break down some of the linguistic barriers. Not only is it accessible, the UI in all of the Mekong countries now, it's also targeted toward low literacy. So it's all iconographic based and visually based. So communities who don't have linguistic skills or a written language can easily use the application. And we're trying to significantly promote that type of use and technology. I wanted to also ask all of the panelists, I think in Myanmar, one of the highlights that Jan presented and also the trainers in Myanmar presented was that there was really just a low-lying baseline understanding and use of technology. And I think in one of the presenter slides, we see, I'm going to invite Kun Win to talk about the challenges of just having tech literacy in Myanmar. Kun Win?
Yes. Okay. We know that Myanmar internet and mobile accessibility just jumped over the past decade in Myanmar. So, so we had like lower affordable internet connection and accessible to smartphone, also technology. For this impact the limitation of our digital literacy among people in Myanmar, and which also overall to this the limitation of digital literacy also prevent a large proportion of population from riding the digital wave. So I think yes, we know that most of people in Myanmar have limited digital knowledge, especially people in the rural area and women. Yes.
Thank you, Kun Win. I think Myanmar is a classic standout example of how diverse the region is in terms of access to technology and ICT services, but also the constraints of working in a digital space, which is something that we didn't touch on very much during the presentation, but there was a question raised during the panel about the authority to share data. So although the government releases data and information, sometimes digitally online, sometimes in print format, to what extent is that data authoritative and accessibly open to be able to reshare would anyone like to share some of their experiences? I open this to everyone on resharing data and the authority with that data. If no one goes, I'm going to select Piruwan.
I can say something.
Okay, Jan, and then Piruwan, please.
Well, for Myanmar, especially right now, I mean, where do you even start, right? I think since the coup happened, I think the question of do you trust any data at all coming out from the government is a big question. I think over the past 5 years that we've been working, we could kind of trust the government, but they had some things they wanted to hide, some things that they wanted to be open with. But going forward, since the February coup, I think it's a much harder environment to work with, and and as people like us who are working in open data, we rely at least some part on the government being slightly cooperative. So what do you do when the government is completely uncooperative? That's a question that I definitely don't know the answer to.
Piruwan, I think you have a lot of experiences to share here.
I just would like to give the case that my project that I'm working on during the data literacy, and the government has the market, the land that how many communities that live in protected area, national park, and they complete it since last year, but until now we could not access to that source, and even the network of people movement return the letter request for the information, but no one getting to the information. No, so this is just one example. Like the data is really still hidden and kept by the authority, and they did not, even though we have the law that the government should transparency and open the data, but in reality certain data is still really strict with the government, and they always use the national security, those things, like for the sake of keeping the nation safe. Yeah. And I think that is the same story for our Mekong region.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask this final question to Vatana from ODC, because I think Vatana, ODC has been was our foundation platform in introducing open data in the Mekong region before we scaled it regionally. And there have been some significant progress in Cambodia in terms of working with governments to open and release data. And Vatana, can you reflect on some of your experiences with working with government data or other forms of data in trying to get them open and openly published?
Thank you, Piero, and thank everyone. In Cambodia, it seems like comparing to Vietnam or Myanmar, it seems like the government, it seems like having some restriction in some specific data. I mean, like some related to like forest cover data and other land concession, even those the data is public in different format and different places. But so far, ODC can aggregate it and processing it into a data set, and we also publish it on our platform. And you can find the economic land concession, mining concession, forest cover that we've been doing so far, even though the government not officially publish it, but we try our best to aggregate all the domain, public domain data that we can access, and we publish it in a different format according to the open data concept. We have a special data format, we have an interactive map, and we have other referencing that we publish on the data hub. You can also access. And regarding to some challenges, we also facing like a political climate intention, especially during the election. So there are also some restrictions from the government as well. But It's most likely it's about something related to the something related to or political. I mean that most likely to the media, that the most challenging one. Some of independent or international media in Cambodia, like the Cambodia Daily and other media, that also facing some measurement from the government that I think that most challenge most likely to the media, because they try to publish something that really hit or making like provoking advocacy or challenging to the ruling party, something like that, the ruling party, sorry. So it's most likely ODC, since we work as an open data, we provide only the objective data and we only make people access to data. We don't jump into conclusion, even those we public many data set. But it seems likely so far we keep the neutral position, that we working with the open data in Cambodia, and we don't really have much challenge with the government. We still can publish some data, and when the situation become tense or the government become restriction, we try to other approach, how we can still working on the specific topic area, for example, like a public survey or something related to election, how we can work it with other NGO, and how we still keep working on this, like, I mean, keep it soft, but we don't want to making ourselves become trouble too. So it is about approaching and how we stand. But again, still, as we working as a neutral organization, we don't jump into conclusion with our data set. We just only provide the objective data. We still keep ourselves in the position of, I mean, safe, and we can still work with our data. Yes,
I think that's a really critical point, that there is, you know, within the data ecosystem, there are different actors and stakeholders that are trying to lobby and advocate for transparency in different ways. And I think having ODI and the open development platforms across the region facilitating an avenue to republish data agnostically and openly without any agenda helps to facilitate an authority base on the use of that data and reuse by data advocates or activists in different sectors, and also data journalism. So I thank you to all the panelists, to the amazing trainers on the ODI team, and all of the participants for presenting. I give it back to you, Salala.
Oh, thank you, Piru. This is a great discussion. My apologies for everyone that we used over 30 minutes behind the schedule, but yeah, I appreciate everyone's participation and presentation, and hopefully we can keep in touch with alumni and those the winners. We want to follow up with your skills that you have been used, and if you have any questions, you can direct to our national coordinators, and even the participants of this webinar. If you have any questions, you can visit our website and contact our coordinators, or direct to the Facebook Messenger inbox. Yeah, and I'm not sure, Piru, do you want to deliver the closing again? Sorry about that, but I think you better to closing this.
I'm going to raise 3 points. I did have a larger closing, but I think I'm just going to condense it to 3 key takeaway points that I heard throughout this training. And want to emphasize that the facility that we designed and developed several years ago, 11 years ago now, was really a mechanism to open up data. And our key objective was to make sure that people were using that data. And I think what we've heard today is that data literacy skills, so not only the release of data, but the skills to critically analyze that data and think about how that data reflects our society, really was highlighted through all of the participants. because all of the presentations and data visualizations that everyone presented highlighted and brought attention to inequalities and discrepancies in support for development for underprivileged, under-marginalized communities within all of the various sectors that everyone worked in. And I think this is really key here, that just making data available does not mean that it is valuable unless somebody uses that. And I really do thank all of the participants of our training who really showed us and demonstrated how it can be useful to increase the data ecosystem. And so the other thing that I wanted to highlight throughout this presentation is the amazing representation of women on this panel and the amazing women that we've worked with. It has been an extreme target of the ODI to increase women's participation in data along the entire data value chain. And I really appreciate that we had some strong voices on the panel today. That's my last key takeaway, is that I would really like to see an increase in representation of women across the data ecosystem and this field and sector. So thank you to all of the participants. Thank you, Salak, for organizing the event and getting us all ready and prepared. And also to our sponsors. I know Spider has been a great support of this work since we've inceptionalized Open Development Mekong and continues to support us. Thank you and take care, everyone.
Thank you, Piru. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.